heavy rains have lashed parts of China, causing landslides and forcing hundreds of people to evacuate, leading to further flooding. Authorities in many parts of China have raised their emergency response levels and issued a series of warnings. Reservoirs of hydroelectric dams around Beijing are rising rapidly, posing a potential risk of dam failure. Faced with the emergency, Beijing authorities were forced to release floodwaters to relieve pressure on irrigation works and protect the safety of downstream areas. According to the Global Times, this flood discharge affected about 300,000 people downstream and caused economic losses of about 124 million yuan. The heavy rain that lasted for many days caused floods from upstream to flow with great speed and volume. Floodwaters rushed through villages, sweeping away everything in their path. Many houses along the stream collapsed along the floodwaters. About 300,000 people have been affected by the floodwaters, including 9,060 people who had been evacuated earlier. 12 villages have been submerged in floodwaters. Two men were struggling in the floodwater, trying to cling to a pole. She was very lucky that two men managed to pull her out of the floodwaters. A series of cars were swept away by the strong current. When the floodwaters suddenly rose, many people had no choice but to abandon their cars in the middle of the road to escape. In a short time, the rushing floodwaters swept away trash, belongings, and even vehicles that could not be moved in time. This record-breaking flood has caused traffic to almost come to a standstill, with many roads submerged in water. Thousands of cars were deeply submerged, with engines and interiors severely damaged, causing great losses to the people. On some streets in Zhengzhou, the water rose above the roofs of the cars, causing them to float like paper boats in the middle of the street. The city government recommends that people do not go out unless absolutely necessary. Avoid moving through flooded areas and do not park in low-lying areas. Businesses and agencies are required not to arrange workers to work, except for necessary units related to urban operations. All indoor and outdoor tourism, sports, cultural and artistic activities are suspended. Schools and training facilities have suspended all in-person classes. Construction sites are forced to stop construction and quickly evacuate workers to safety. On the same day, Chinese Premier Li Qiang also issued a directive, emphasizing the need to comprehensively deploy tasks of flood prevention, response, and recovery, focusing on rescuing people who have lost contact or are trapped, and quickly organizing the evacuation and resettlement of residents in dangerous areas in order to minimize human losses. Heavy rains and floods killed at least 18 people in Guangdong over the weekend, prompting a search and rescue operation involving more than 1,300 rescue workers. 16 rivers in Guangdong are at risk of overflowing, with water levels in 2 locations reaching their highest levels since 2017 and 2018. Emergency management authorities said on Tuesday the situation could worsen, with 2 to 3 typhoons expected to hit China in August. China's Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Emergency Management have urgently allocated an additional 350 million yuan from the central budget to provide emergency assistance to 9 provinces, cities, and autonomous regions, including Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, Shaanxi, Inner Mongolia, Jilin, Shandong, Guangdong, and Shanxi.